Okay, hey guys, what's up? It's me again with another fighter interview. Uh, Today I'm here with the hot UFC bantamweight prospect Adrian Yanez. How are you, my man?
Yeah, I'm doing real good, man. Just happy to be on here, man. I'm here to have a fun time.
Yeah, let's go. Um, so I asked my followers on Twitter for some questions, and I have some of my own. So let's just get straight into it. What was the journey like? You got your contract on the Contender Series. You made your debut in a spectacular way in the UFC. What was that journey leading up to your UFC debut like for you?
Man, it was a tough, long journey, man. I've been fighting since man before I even graduated high school. Like
Mm-hmm.
I was fighting my first amateur fight. I was a senior uh in my first semester. It was like October 22nd, 2011. So going back from there all the way up to where I am now, man, is like a complete like just to see all the hard work and just to see all like everything like how it's all came together, what moves I had to make, like what certain adjustments I needed to make in life and just in general,
Mm-hmm.
man. Looking back, I was just like, man, I was just a kid just dreaming to be here. And the fact that like I'm here like is just another one of those testaments, man, that if you put your mind to it, you can do it. And to me right now, uh like I'm just really happy to be here, to be in the UFC, because it's still like a dream to me in some sense, even though I belong here, I deserve to
Mm-hmm.
be. In my mind, I'm always just like, dude, this is still pretty cool. I'm living the dream that I set out for myself whenever I first started fighting. So man, it's been really long, man. It's been like a roller coaster ride for me, man, and I'm like it's just one of those things that I'm just still like in awe and in shock that like, hey, I got here. So, it's
Yeah,
been downhill.
that's awesome. What would you say your biggest influence to like say this fighting shit is for me? Like, what would you say that was?
Man, it was I don't know. I can't really pinpoint what exactly it was because
Mm-hmm.
it was just one of those that I just kind of just happened to fall in love with it. My dad being a boxer,
Mm-hmm.
it was almost like kind of influenced a little bit, because my dad would always have the boxing matches on and everything. So
Yeah.
was always watching it, and then also growing up, I was watching WWE, WWF, WWE, and like playing Mortal Kombat and all that stuff. So I always loved the fighting, and then also my cousin and my brother would always beat up on me. So it was just one of those things that I always felt like I always had to fight back, and then
Yeah.
uh, we had the backyard like we'd put on boxing gloves like and with the other kids in the neighborhood. I would always want to put them on, and I would always want to try to fight the biggest neighbor. So
Yeah.
to me, it was just kind of one of those that it just happened. And then whenever I found jujitsu, man, it just kind of just took took over my world. And then after that, like I kind of figured, it's like, you know what? Let me give this a shot. I see it on TV. I get to do this all. I get to I get to train it. Let me see if I can compete. And I really wanted to fight. Like once I stepped on the mat for the first time, I was like, man, maybe I want to do this. And then
Mm-hmm.
after the first week or two, I was like, I really want to do this. And I stepped in the cage for the first time ever, uh, like October 22nd, 2011. That was like a oh shit moment for me. Like I love this feeling. I love the feeling of fighting. And it was just so like cool to me. So it's a lot of things. I can't pinpoint one thing. It was just everything just kind of mashed in together.
Yeah. Um, so obviously you made your debut in a spectacular fashion. By the way, that was an awesome knockout. You're one of the more exciting prospects on the roster, I'd say right now. You're like in my opinion, you're probably going to be a champion one day. My question is, what belt do you prefer, the old one or the new one?
Man, honestly, I've always kind of fell in love with the old UFC belt because just because of like for me, I always loved the look of like the WCW belt like
Hmm.
back like that to me was like really really nice. It was really cool. It's just like all the little like curvatures in it and like how gold it was. That to me was like I wanted a belt like that. I've always wanted. And so like the old UFC belt, that's the most resemblance to it, and I do love that one a lot. Like I would really want one of those. Want one of those. The new belts, man. Hey, dude, just as much. I want it just as bad as I want the old belts. But
Yeah.
if you're asking me what preference I like, I definitely like the old ones. But the new ones, that they have that new flavor to them. It's like a new slick. It's like which one do you like? Do you like the Dodge Charger in the 1970s or like the Dodge Charger now? Like
Yeah.
to me, it's like I want them both.
Yeah. Um, I keep going back to that knockout in your debut. Like when you beat someone's ass like that, like what's your go-to food after?
Oh man, my go-to food is anything and everything, whatever is everything. I'm a fat boy at heart, man. I used to be 200 pounds before I started training, so it was like,
Damn.
so I love food. I love food whatsoever. Like right now, I'm like it's painful for me to try to go out here and try to make weight because I just see all the food on Food Network.
Yeah.
One of the TV series that I used to watch all the time was Man versus Food whenever I was cutting weight. So
Hmm.
like go out and just go to this restaurant, whoever had a food challenge, and you go out there and try to take on their food challenge. And I tortured myself with that so much, just because I just love like I was thinking about food the whole entire time. But uh, man, honestly, like if I were to ask one thing, it would probably be pizza. That would probably be my most go-to thing.
My
Yeah,
man.
yeah. I'm a
Pizza.
ninja.
What would you say your favorite pizza topping is then?
Oh man, I'm super basic, man. Just put pepperoni on it, and I'm good. I'm good, man. Pepperoni. Uh, honestly, if you were to ask me, like just the one, it'd be pepperoni. But if you're asking me what I would want, just give me the meat lovers.
Oh yeah. Meat lovers is fucking amazing.
Oh yeah.
Down, I'm craving pizza right now, but I'm on a diet, so no. Um, Another food related question. Do you like shawarma if you've ever tried it?
No, man. I haven't tried it. That's one thing that's on my bucket list that I want to try. Man. Is probably just one of those things that just keeps slipping away from me. I want to try it. I
Yeah.
really want to try it. Like I just started trying Indian food like about a month and a half ago. I had it and I was like, man, I can't have it anymore as of right now because I got
Yeah.
this weight. But uh, I can't wait till like after I'm done with the fight so I can go out on a food tour.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like a good idea to treat yourself like after a win, just like eat a whole bunch of new foods. Um, are y- this is a very important question to me. Like this will probably like form my opinion of you as a person, but are you team King Kong or team Godzilla?
Oh man, that's a toss up for me, man. I love both of them, man. Like I haven't watched Kong, the last one,
Hmm.
the most recent one that they had for him. I know that they were trying to
Yeah.
build him into like he was just an adolescence and in that last one like he was a teenager. Now he's like a full grown adult in this one.
Hmm.
I really don't know, man. I really loved the Godzilla in this last movie whenever I was watching it, but yeah, I'd probably need to go back and watch the King Kong movie. So I don't have like a full on opinion, but if you're asking me who I thought would be cooler, I would probably lean towards King Kong. But I love them both, man. I
Yes.
love I love Godzilla just as much, man. Just because he's in freaking the what's that blast that
Yeah,
mouth blast?
the atomic breath.
It's pretty badass, man.
Yeah, that is true. But like I like monkeys, so I'm a King Kong guy. Um, who these questions are all over the place, man. I'm going from Godzilla to other UFC fighters. Who are your UFC like your favorite UFC fighters to watch right now?
To watch right now is definitely it would definitely be have to be Israel Adesanya.
Hmm.
Just because I like how like he's super calculated. He's super
Yeah.
he pinpoints everything. Like he's everything he does in the cage is for a certain reason. Whether he's taunting you, whether whether he's like measuring distance, every little thing it's for a setup. It's for something different. And man, I really admire watching that guy. There's a lot of other guys I like watching too, but he's definitely at the top of the list whenever it comes to just watching for like technique and finesse and everything. Another guy that I like to watch is right now like the 155 division is pretty stacked, and
Hmm.
just to see how far he's come, Dustin Poirier is another good one
Yeah.
just because that guy's been grinding for a very very long time. He had some ups and downs, and just to see how far he's come, that's it's something to admire at and something that I'm in awe for. Because dude, that guy, he's had some really tough losses, but just to come back from them every single time and like keep showing how much better he's gotten. And to me, it's like very phenomenal to look at. So he's definitely another one I like to watch.
Yeah. Dustin Poirier's like he's never had a boring fight. It's fucking insane. The wars he's been in. And like you said, like Adesanya, like you see it in his eyes, like he's constantly thinking, and I think that's really interesting to see. Um, I wanted to ask you this later, but I'm just gonna do it right now. How do you feel like the main event of this Saturday, well tomorrow, is gonna go between Blachowicz and Adesanya?
Dude, that's a tough one for me, man, because it's one of those things that like Jan, he's just a powerhouse. He's a
Hmm.
heavy powerhouse. He's definitely gonna have like 30 pounds over Izzy, like 30 to 35 pounds over him. Those big guys, they can cut a massive amount of weight
Hmm.
to make 205. So to me, man, it's gonna be a really tough one for Izzy, because especially, man, like you go back to Izzy's kickboxing background. He's fought at heavyweight, but if you look at those heavyweights that he was fighting, they're not really heavyweights. They're
Hmm.
not heavyweights in the UFC. I don't think a lot of them are even like light heavyweights in the UFC. I just think they look like overblown middleweights. If I'm being quite honest with you,
Hmm.
so that's one thing that I was taking into consideration looking at. They're not the Mirko Cro Cop heavyweights
Yeah.
or them back in the day. So it's a different type of animal now. Jan Blachowicz, is definitely a strong powerhouse. He has a tough chin. He's going to be heavy. He has that power. You can definitely see whenever he was throwing those body kicks to Dominic Reyes that he was hurt
Hmm.
every single time. He left him red welts. Like, it didn't look like it was a deep, deep bruise
Yeah.
on Dominic's right side. So Izzy's just gonna have to be really patient and really careful and pick him apart. So man, if Izzy knocks him out, I'm gonna be super impressed. I'm gonna be beyond impressed because to knock out somebody like Jan Blachowicz is like a task to do, and like to go up a weight class where he weighed in under the scale, he weighed in 200,
Hmm.
200.5, and that to me is like would be phenomenal, like would be crazy. And if he does it and he does it in spectacular fashion with a knockout, man, Izzy will probably be one of the greatest of all times, in my opinion. Uh, so I'm leaning towards Izzy. I think Izzy outpoints him. But man, if anybody gets knocked out, I'm probably leaning toward Jan Blachowicz knocking out Israel Adesanya. But to me, I would go 60-40 Israel Adesanya.
Yeah. Well, I think that fight is a lot closer than some people make it out to be. People are acting like Jan is a bum. Well, but he's champion for a reason. Like Dominic Reyes was a tough opponent, so it'll definitely be interesting to see the outcome on that fight. Another interesting fight on the card is obviously the title fight for your weight class, Peter Yan versus Aljamain Sterling. How do you feel like that fight will go?
Man, that's another tough one too, because I see Peter Yan, and he has crisp hands. He has really crisp.
Hmm.
He's added kicks to his arsenal and everything. I look at it and I just think it's a tough fight for Aljo, even though like it's kind of like contrasting styles. Aljo's more like I'm gonna take you down, and submit you, and Peter Yan's more that I'm gonna walk you down and I'm gonna
Hmm.
outbox you. I'm trying to knock your head off every single time.
Yeah.
So for me, I look at that and I'm just like, well, who would be able to implement their game plan first? And honestly, I think Aljo being so like unorthodox, I think he might be able to get the better of it. It is a tough one for Aljamain, and it is a tough one for Peter Yan. This fight's a lot is pretty close in my eyes. But I like Aljamain, and I like Aljamain, and I think he's gonna get a. I think he'd get a decision, or he might submit him. But if anybody's getting knocked out, it's definitely Aljamain Sterling. So it's one of those. I think decision Aljamain. I think submission Aljamain. If anybody's getting knocked out, I think it will be Aljamain.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Peter Yan with a knockout or submission or decision. I think it would be Aljamain Sterling getting the victory. But this is another close one to me, man. I think it's like to me this one's more of a 55-45, and I'm leaning towards Aljamain.
Yeah. Like I just can't for the life of me make a prediction for that fight. Like I'm just gonna have to see how it plays out.
It's like splitting hairs here and there, uh, and every grappling exchange that I see, I think Aljamain is just going to be able to outwork him in smaller spots. So it's really just small, man. It's super small details that I think Aljamain will be able to outwork Peter Yan in those positions. But
Mm-hmm.
super close, man. I'm slightly picking Aljamain Sterling.
Yeah. Um. Now for the third title fight on the card, do you think Megan Anderson has it in her to beat arguably one of the most dominant champs in the sport right now?
She has the reach. I know she got popping her punches.
Mm-hmm.
She just has to keep it at distance. She had if she's been working with James Krause, she's been working with those guys for quite a bit. I believe she has the tools to be able to beat somebody like Amanda Nunes.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the thing. It's Amanda Nunes. Amanda Nunes go out there. She's the full package. She'll be able to
Yeah.
beat you up or knock you out on the feet. So it's gonna be a tough out, not like Megan Anderson being such the underdog. I think she's gonna thrive in that. She might be able to pull it off. She might be
Mm-hmm.
able to pull it off just because of her reach. And I was looking at their stare down, and Amanda Nunes
Yeah.
the entire time, and I kind of looked at that. I was like, man, I might put some money on
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 Megan, yeah.
Megan Anderson just because, man, she got the height. You never know, because that straight right coming down the pipe from somebody who's that tall, man, might catch Amanda and rock her, and we might have a new featherweight champ. So to me, I wouldn't mind throwing like $100 on Megan Anderson just because the payout would be pretty big. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so I, but if you're asking me where I go, like I'm like Amanda Nunes.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm basically rooting for all the underdogs on the card because in 2020 none of the champions lost their belt, so I want to see some belt changes. So but yeah, like logically thinking about it, I think Amanda gets it done. Um. So yeah, now we're back to the nonsensical questions. Um. Derek Lewis has complained about his balls being hot in the cage. Um. Have you ever experienced this phenomenon as well?
Man, I haven't.
No.
That problem is just specifically for him. I don't know. He needs to get he needs to get a doctor to check that out for him, man. Because I don't know. Might be over exhaustion, man. I don't know. Actually, one time in my professional debut,
Hmm.
I got kicked in the nuts so hard that it broke my cup, and that was the only time that was the only time where I felt like probably my balls were hot. That's the only time. But
Damn.
yeah, no. After that, I upgraded to the Diamond MMA Cup, the Diamond Steel Cup. Those man, dude, I let people kick me in the nuts all the time with. So it's one of those that it protects me. I got two now. That's the thing. I got two, so I
Damn.
swap them out. So they're worth it. But that first fight, yeah, like I got kicked in the nuts by a Taekwondo national champion. Freaking kicked me right in the nuts. Came home, I pulled it out. I was like, man, I looked, it had the crack. I was able to kind of almost like flip it almost all the way out, like without no pressure. And I was like, yeah, I need to invest in a real good cup, and that's how I got
Damn.
my MMA cup. So yeah, like right whenever I went to the corner, I told my coach like, hey, coach, give me the water. I grabbed the water, opened, and just poured it down there because Oh man, I was trying to find some way to survive because I took the whole 5 minutes. I took the whole 5 minutes. That thing hurt. I was like, oh yeah, it was bad.
Damn, that's not what you want to feel on your debut. A
Oh
kick like
no.
that in the nuts. Um, you might be onto something there with Derek Lewis, like the overexhaustion making his balls hot. But one of my buddies uh, made a suggestion, and he said that maybe wearing a thong during fights would prevent hot balls. Like, how would you feel about wearing a thong during a fight?
Yeah, man. I don't know. I don't know about that, man. It wouldn't be a sight to see for everybody. I think the pay-per-view would be pretty much it would be sold out just because. Well, actually, you know what? Like for other people, I think like for if they wanted to do like Paulo Acosta in there, I'm pretty sure a lot of women would pay for that. But for me, they'd be paying me to keep my clothes on. Yeah,
Oh my god.
put some shorts on, man. Yeah.
Yeah, wasn't there a guy that wore a thong once, like like way back in the
Oh,
day
yeah.
when?
I can recall that. There's Dennis Hallman. Dennis Hallman. Yeah, he
Yeah,
did.
yeah.
Yeah, so he got like in I think it was he fought this guy named Brian Ebersol, and
Hmm.
Dana White actually gave him a bonus for getting him out there in the first round. I remember this. It
Damn.
stuck in my head. I remember that very vividly.
Yeah, that just popped into my mind. Wow. Um, you mentioned Paulo Costa there. Um, we've heard about Paulo Costa drinking some wine to calm the nerves before fight night. Do you have any tricks to maybe get rid of any anxiety before a fight, or do you not feel any anxiety at all, or what's it like for you?
Man, I used to have like kind of like nerves, but like honestly, after weigh-ins, for me, anytime I eat and I drink, I'm able to drink my electrolytes and able to start drinking water after like my weigh-ins. To me, all any problems that I had like for the last couple of days, they're all gone. Just
Hmm.
because God, I was stressed out, I was trying to make weight, and now I made weight. Now I'm able to like get some good sleep because I got some food in me. So I've never had that problem of like, oh man, I'm like, I can't get no sleep. Let me drink some wine or let me smoke some weed or something like that. Like, nah, man. For me, it's always been like I eat and I'm able to go to sleep. Like I'm good. I'm good to go. And this is nice for me. So I never had that problems. Paulo Costa having that problem at the highest level kind of shows that, he's probably not meant for the highest level, man. Going out there making a stupid decision and drinking wine. You can kind of see what Israel Adesanya was saying about him. It's like, dude, he's dumb as a box of rocks, and you just don't do that. And it kind of showed in the fight that hey, like he kind of pointed you out. So that, hey, dude, if you're gonna drink before you fight, then hey, man, you deserve what's coming to you.
Yeah. Well, like I'm poking fun at him, but honestly, like I could not be able to deal with that stress before like a fight. Like I drink 2 bottles of wine probably. So, but yeah, props to Paulo Costa to keeping
I,
it.
I, I drink everything after the fight, not before.
That's a smarter thing. Maybe you should like send him a DM or something. Um. So you talked about like your dad being a boxer and him having all the fights on. If someone came up to you tomorrow and said you can't do MMA anymore, you have to pick one martial art to do for the rest of your life, would it be boxing or would it be something else?
Oh no, I'd definitely be boxing. It'd be boxing for sure. I love the art. I love the grind that you have to do for boxing. It's just one of those things that for me that I would rather do boxing
Hmm.
just because, man, it's the sweet science, man. It's the science of the hands, head movement, hit and not get hit. So to me, I've always found that fascinating. I've always really, really found that fascinating. So if someone told me, hey, look, mixed martial arts is done. You can only do one. I'd move over to boxing. I already got the base of like, I already got somewhat of a base, with the hands.
Hmm.
I could always go to kickboxing or Muay Thai, but man, I don't want to do it. Like, man, it's always been one of those things that like if I kick wrong, I hurt my ankle.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not with that. You know, if I'm like doing it for a living. I'm not. I'm okay. I'd rather just do boxing, and plus the payouts are bigger in boxing, so I'd definitely just shoot straight for boxing.
Yeah. Like before I got in, like before I became an MMA fan, I was like I discovered boxing first because just the striking is so clean and it just looks so good. But
Yeah.
um, I wanted to ask you about the current state of boxing with like YouTubers crossing over and all that. How do you feel about all those things?
Man, they're just. I think they're just trying to find another way to get paid, and then also it's just one of those things that like the current state of boxing. You know, it's well for the YouTubers' sake, for the YouTubers jumping in there, they're kind of to me. I feel like they're kind of making a mockery of boxing, but
Hmm.
also it's one of those things that like if people are saying that like boxing is dead, boxing is dead, or like boxing is being made a mockery, like you got all these YouTubers making uh like coming crossing over, like bringing eyes to the sport. It's like, oh, that's kind of BS, you know, because Canelo goes out there all the time and fights all the time. Just because like they bring like a different type of audience to the platform, you know, doesn't
Hmm.
boxing was ever dead, or you know, boxing's always had the same amount of fans, especially whenever it became like Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, Canelo, and whoever he
Hmm.
fights, fighting Billy Joe Saunders in May. You got people, you had people geeking over Lomachenko, and then you got the guy who took him out, and Teofimo Lopez. So, and then you got Gervonta Tank Davis, man. All those guys, man, are beasts and they're studs, and you got like boxing is a very respectable, and you have to be like you have to be like it's you have to be like really committed to be at the top, and you know those YouTube boxers that are trying to come over like Jake Paul out there trying to call everybody out. You know he's gonna run into a real one, and
Hmm.
he's gonna get hurt. He's doing a good job picking who he fights. You know, he fought Nate Robinson, you know, who didn't train a day in his life and runs into a like pretty much like dropped his hands
Yeah.
to him and ran into a straight right. And if you don't knock anybody out with their hands down running into you, then you know you kind of don't deserve to be in boxing. You know,
Yeah.
especially that. But you know, and then he's fighting Ben Askren, another one there. You just kind of just like, dude, you saw his striking in the UFC. Dude's not like he's a wrestler. He's like a straight up wrestler. It's like, man, he didn't call out Jorge Masvidal. He didn't go out there and call out Yoel Romero. He didn't go out there and call out any of these guys who have power or slick
Hmm.
boxing. No, I'm gonna pick this guy right here. I'm gonna pick Ben Askren, like the guy who was a gold medalist in wrestling. But also, you know, Ben Askren, he didn't get knocked out by Robbie Lawler. You know, after he got like
Hmm.
punished, he got punished with a couple punches, like clean flush punches, and didn't get knocked out. So if he's able to get him in the late rounds, we haven't seen Jake Paul in the late rounds, so he might be one of those guys that he's all tough for like 3 rounds, but then that fourth,
Yeah.
fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth round, he's a tired wimp. So I would like to see that, man. But yeah, the current state of boxing, it's very good, you know, because you got people like Canelo about to fight Billy Joe Saunders, who's if you know about that fight's a really good fight. It's a really,
Hmm.
really good fight. So to me, I the only mockery is it's kind of like the trolling aspect that like these YouTubers kind of do. And
Yeah.
then I kind of get it, but then I kind of don't with Floyd Mayweather trying to, you know,
Oh yeah.
entertain it with Logan Paul, and I'm just like, dude, come on, man. I know you just want to make your money, you want to do this, you know, but yeah, I don't know. I forgave him for the Conor McGregor stuff. uh, other than that, then like it's just that little blip, and after that, that's what it is.
Yeah. Then like you said, like Jake didn't want to fight Yoel Romero or whoever, but from what I heard, his team offered Michael Bisping to fight, and obviously Michael Bisping accepted, and Jake Paul went quiet and just went with Ben Askren, hoping that that's the easy fight. But honestly, like uh, Ben is not the cleanest striker per se, but like he can frustrate like an relatively inexperienced boxer, and like he shows him a lot of things that he hasn't seen before. So I'm hoping Ben knocks the shit out of Jake Paul. So yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
he would have to work inside, try to clinch
yeah.
up with him a little bit, and just try to see what he can do. Like tire his arms out early. So like one thing that I see boxers do a little bit is in the clinch is that they get overhooks. They get the
Hmm.
overhooks, drag their weight onto them.
Yeah.
So like a lot of these boxers, they try to keep them up and like hey, it's like no, they're just trying to weigh their arms down. That like they do inside fighting pretty good. Like there's a lot of people think that oh man you put them in the clinch, they're kind of done. Like, no, they work the clinch too. They're working it constantly because other fighters, man, like those clinch and hold guys, they're
Hmm.
working the inside. As soon as they get in the inside, they're trying to tire your arms out. So
Yeah.
it's a game plan. Uh, so whenever I look at that, I was like, I think that's what Ben Askren needs to do. Tire Jake's arms out. Like, kind of keep walking into him, make him punch, and then whenever he punches, clinch up with them, make him get tired really quickly.
Yeah. You like you said, you're a big fan of boxing, and I know you're probably just focusing on your UFC career for the moment, but in the future, would you see yourself ever competing in a pro boxing match, like on a high level?
High level, especially with the guys that are out right now.
Hmm.
Nah, that'd be a death wish. Like you got to kind of take it into perspective. Floyd Mayweather isn't the hardest puncher. He can punch,
Hmm.
but he's not the hardest puncher. And you see what he did to somebody who has like really good boxing and MMA in Conor McGregor. You can just see the skill level difference.
Hmm.
But if you go to my weight class and you look at all the punchers in there, you got Gervonta Tank Davis, 135. That dude hits like a Mack truck. And then you
Uh-huh.
got Teofimo Lopez, who hits like a Mack truck. And like even whatever you think of the guy Ryan Garcia, he hits hard. He's quick.
Yeah.
That's another thing you got to take into perspective too is that their hands are a lot more are faster. Their hands are a lot more powerful, and with the big gloves, they're a lot more precise. So it
Hmm.
would have to be one of those things where I'd have to work my way up. I'd have to work my way up into that position. I had to fight like the low level guys, then boost myself up and get up there to the high level. But that
Hmm.
takes that would take years. So it wouldn't just be like a one off, because if if it was like for a really big payday, hey, put me in there. But uh, it'd just be one of those like it'd be one of those that I would train super hard, legitimately trying to win that fight, but I know what was gonna happen. It's like there's a difference.
Yeah.
Just like she came into the MMA realm. Just look at James Toney, what happened to him. So
Yeah.
it's just so much different.
Yeah. Well, maybe you wouldn't fight like at a high level, but imagine like a YouTuber. Let's say I call you out. I'll give you $6 to fight me. Would would you do it?
Oh man, yeah, it had to be more than $6 though. Yeah.
Yeah, we can talk about the numbers sometime later, but yeah. Um, I think no, I have some questions left. How much time? Yeah, we have some time left. Would you rather like we've talked about you fighting boxers. Would you like now we're what the fuck? I'm stumbling over my words here. Um,
All good.
now like how would you feel about what the fuck? Would you rather fight a duck-sized tiger or a tiger-sized duck?
Tiger-sized duck or a duck-sized tiger.
Yeah.
You know what? I'd just be fighting a cat. So yeah, no, I'd punt that little tiger across the room, man.
That, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, no, you're
That
just
that yeah, suddenly that question doesn't sound half as clever anymore.
no,
Let- let-
I was just
let- let-
thinking about it, I was like, huh. I was like, it's just a cat. And I was like, yeah, you know what? I just punted it right across the room, man. Yeah. If
yeah,
that were the
yeah, okay,
case.
but some cats are some mean little fuckers. Like they're like as you're trying to punt them, they're like jump on your leg and scratch a balls or something. Like
Oh,
I don't
yeah,
I don't fuck with
it would
cats at
be the
all.
smartest idea, but I'd rather have that than a duck-sized tiger.
Yeah, that's a good point. Um, okay, yeah, I think those were all the questions. Yeah, like I said, thank you for doing this. I had a lot of fun. This interview went a lot better than I think it would. It's only my second interview ever, like with anyone. So yeah, once again, thank you for wanting to come on. You're not gonna get any exposure from this, but thank you.
It's all good, man. It's all good. I'll share it. I'll do what I can, man. Man, I don't mind doing any of it, man. It's cool, man. To me, it's really really cool, you know, because I was telling Boogie Beard himself, it's
Uh-huh.
like pretty much like, man, because I remember how it was whenever I was like first started fighting, and it was like just to even try to get noticed, you know, it was real hard. So
Yeah.
like if I can do something like even though like I'm not a big UFC fighter, you know, I fought one time in the UFC, a little bit of a name, somewhat whatever. Like I'm not the biggest name, but if I
Hmm.
can help somebody like get noticed or do something, you know, then hey, I'm more than happy to do it because it like I needed people to get to where I'm at today. So
Yeah.
if I can help anybody out, I don't mind it at all.
Yeah. That's fucking amazing, dude. Yeah, you're a good dude. Um, uh, I just thought of one little segment that I'm gonna do with every fighter from now on. If you can guess my age correctly, then I'll fucking give you $1,000 right now. Like, go ahead.
All right, hold on. All right, I'm trying to look at backgrounds too. So I see a cactus, I see a plant. All right. So the beard and the hair can be a little bit misleading.
Hmm.
Might be in your 20s. Oh
No,
dang.
sir.
So
I'm
tell me you're 19.
I'm 17.
Huh?
I'm 17 years of age.
Oh damn, I got close. I got close. All right.
Yeah,
It's
close.
all good though.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
Mm.
don't you shouldn't have said your answer. Now you gotta bleep it out.
Oh shit, bro! I just ruined my own fucking segment. Yeah, I'm gonna bleep that out. I'm gonna bleep that out. Well, you have to promise though that you won't tell
Oh no,
anybody.
I'm not saying anything, man. Nah,
Okay.
I'm gonna say that you're 27.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. I'll take your word for it. But yeah, um, it's fucking 3:30 right now, so I have to get to bed. But thank you for doing this. Like I said, I'll we'll talk again when you're a UFC champion and I'm like a huge YouTuber. So
Oh yeah, for sure.
see you at the top.
All right, man. Thank you so much, man. Thank you for having me on, man. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, you're very welcome. The pleasure was mine. I'm gonna stop this recording right now.